guys, it's Kayla, and welcome back to Angel or Devil. Last episode was super duper short, but we did give up heaven, so that was pretty impactful. Let's continue on with Chapter 7. Ruvel main story, Chapter 7. Giving up on heaven? Lattice froze in shock. Apparently, he hadn't been expecting this sort of answer. Yes, I'll go with Ruvel. As I looked down, Ruvel's happy sleeping face filled my vision.
Are you sure about this? There's still time.
I'm fine. I gave him a straightforward answer. I'll live until my final moments with Ruvel, like this. Lattice's eyes widened for a moment.
I understand. For a soul like yours to take this path, it's very disappointing.
He left without another word. Silence came back to me like another falling blanket. The only sound I could hear was my exhalation. I've gone and done it now. I wonder if Brother's mad at me up there in heaven. In something of a daze, I look over at Ruvel, still sleeping. But that's just how I feel. In that moment, Ruvel's grip on me loosened as he shifted. While I stared in surprise, his eyelashes twitched faintly before his eyes opened slowly.
Kayla?
I smiled, seeing myself in the mirror that was his eyes. Awake yet?
Yeah. How long have you been awake?
Hearing him sound so sleepy, I relax a little. Sounds like he didn't notice Lattice being here. No, I pretty much just woke up. I'll go make breakfast. I directed a smile at Ruvel. So, would you please let go of me? Reluctantly, he did. I'll call you when it's done. He was already dozing off again, so I patted him on the head before making my way to the kitchen with light feet. Rice or bread? I turned around as I thought. I paused, startled. Ruvel was looking out at the sky with the most heart-rending expression I had ever seen.
This is all very sudden.
Lattice looked over at the one who had called him out, Ruvel. His face was unusually serious.
We need to talk.
Lattice's eyes widened just slightly.
Whatever about? The truth is.
Just as he started to talk, you two are hanging out without me? Diablo came out of nowhere.
Team-oriented as usual. What of your injury?
Ruvel raised an eyebrow.
Injury? Oh.
He sniffed and glanced over at Diablo.
That injury.
Diablo glared at Ruvel with undisguised embarrassment.
You're trying to say something? What else could I say? Now, settle down, you two.
Lattice butted in between them before glancing at Ruvel. Now, what did you have to ask me? Diablo's eyes bulged incredulously.
Ruvel's asking something of you?
Ruvel stayed quiet for some time before.
Yes, I have something to ask of Lattice.
Well? Lattice and Diablo pressed him to continue simultaneously. After breakfast, I had sat down on the canvas, but couldn't quite focus. I'll move this book over here with the rest. I ended up cleaning the apartment. Not bad, I guess. I found a stopping point after wiping off a picture frame and sat down on a sofa. Ruvel was still out on whatever errand he had, leaving me alone in my apartment again. Without Ruvel, this apartment feels awfully spacious. That moment, I noticed a sketchbook lying behind my bookcase. It looked rather like someone had hidden it there. Is this Ruvel's? My lips loosened in curiosity and I reached out. Wait, this is... Underneath his sketchbook, one more sketchbook was hidden. Hold on, I flipped through this other sketchbook. It's my brother's. Inside were many sketches of angels and demons, so this is where it was. From beneath my relieved pleasure, a troubling question arose. But does this mean that Ruvel knew where my brother's sketchbook was? Why didn't he ever tell me? As I flipped through my pages, my hand clamped down on one particular drawing. Wait, isn't this? It was a drawing of an angel and a demon. It looks kind of like the painting in the museum. There was one part of the painting in the museum that was different, however. Specifically. Welcome back. I held out the sketchbook I had found to Ruvel. Hey Ruvel, did you find my brother's sketchbook? His eyes sank downwards.
Yeah.
You should have told me about it.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you.
He sunk to the floor near me. You forgot? I gave it little thought before flipping through the pages again. Did you look through it all?
No, not much.
I think I found the rough draft for the painting in the museum. This one, don't you think it looks like a reaper? Maybe even like you? I held out the sketch before him, but he would only glance at it briefly.
I don't know, and we can't ask the author.
More negative thinking. Show him a mirror? What would that do? I guess we'll do that. I'm more just curious what that means. If you're not sure, what if you compared it to yourself? I held out a mirror to him, but Ruvel only sniffed and smiled painfully.
You serious?
Huh? Curious about his attitude, I looked at the mirror, but I couldn't see Ruvel. What? It doesn't reflect him? Oh, glad I chose this. I wanted to know that. I felt like reality had been dumped in my lap. Ruvel wasn't human, of course. Sorry. I hastily apologized and he opened his mouth emotionlessly.
For what?
For, despite my awkwardness, he picked up his own sketchbook and began to draw as if nothing had happened. I looked at the mirror he had left behind and my heart was wrenched. Could I have forgotten he was a reaper until I showed him the mirror? Meanwhile...
What a surprise, huh? Indeed, I never thought Ruvel would ask me for this of all things.
After Ruvel had left, Diavel and Lattice had shared a grim look.
But why would he think about that? I just don't understand him. I agree. At the very least, I've never heard of a Reaper thinking of something like this.
Someone was listening.
Never heard of what now?
A Reaper they'd never met before appeared.
Quite the handsome young angel and demon, aren't we? Friends of Ruvel, are we?
Their distant expressions softened at the mention of Ruvel's name.
Who are you?
Me? I'm Ruvel's friend, don't you know? Best friend ever.
Ruvel's been down in the dumps, see? Got me all worried.
Have you any idea what happened to him? Lattice and Diavel exchanged glances.
Don't ask me, ask Lattice. Bye now.
And with that, he flew off.
Right then, laddie pal. What do you know?
I'm terribly sorry, but I'm not certain myself. Lattice moved to fly off as well, but...
Hold on there, not so fast, flyboy.
The Reaper gripped Lattice's shoulder firmly.
Now, what did Ruvel ask you to do?
His eyes flashed dangerously as he grinned. That night, having finished dinner, I prepared for tomorrow's fireworks show. This, and these wood sandals. Seeing me rush about the apartment, Ruvel sighed softly.
It's tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, and I've got to get ready now. I don't want to be in a rush tomorrow. Observing his lack of interest, I called out to him. I'm pretty sure you said you weren't wearing a yukata tomorrow, but it's only once a year. Why don't we both wear one? I worked up the courage to ask him, and he glanced my way.
Do you want me to?
It sure sounded that way, didn't it? We do, let's just be honest. But it's such a rare event. Yeah, I do. I frowned almost apologetically as he looked at me for a moment.
If you're that insistent, I can wear one, he muttered.
You're serious? I hadn't expected him to oblige me. I was delighted to hear otherwise.
If that's what you want.
As he trailed off, I hugged him. Yay, I'm so happy. You're tall, Ruvel. I'm sure you look great in a yukata. Coming down from my burst of enthusiasm, I snapped to my senses. Sorry, I stepped away from him in a hurry, and he sniffed in amusement.
Nothing to apologize for. I was just surprised.
Surprised?
I didn't think you'd be that pleased. Is it really that important to you?
I nodded exaggeratedly. It sure is. Aren't you looking forward to it too? He stared down at me.
Well, yeah, very much so.
He smiled with startling warmth, and I had to follow suit. All right, let's find a yukata. I trailed off as his critical problem struck me. Shoot, I doubt we'll be able to get you a rental by this point. I hurriedly looked through a local shopping magazine. As I flipped through the pages in a panic, Ruvel merely sighed.
Just pick one for me that you like.
Huh?
I'll trust you with your decision.
He looked down at the magazine I was looking through.
Well, what should I wear?
I was thinking something like this would look best on you. The night wore on as we entertained ourselves with our preparations. Having finished preparing, Ruvel looked over at the canvas and spoke.
Looks like it's coming along.
Yeah, it's thanks to you. I should be able to make it in time at this rate. He looked pleased to hear it.
You really are something, Kayla.
Huh?
Most people would be frightened out of their minds if I told them they only had a week left to live.
Well, I was scared at the beginning. I answered him and smiled. But you wasted no time in coming to help me through it, and you're still helping me. For a moment, he was taken aback. Then he swiftly turned around in place.
I hope you can finish it.
His voice sounded strangely weak. Ruvel, what's wrong? I moved closer to him.
Better sleep soon. Can we continue this tomorrow?
Sure. Putting our odd standoff aside, I got ready to go to sleep. Some hours later, having climbed into bed with Ruvel, I looked at him with little reason for doing so. He's not going to cling to me tonight? He inched away a bit before turning his back towards me and going to sleep. I wonder what's wrong. Wait, this makes it seem as if I want him to hug me, doesn't it? I rolled onto my side away from him and closed my eyes. In that moment,
Kayla.
In the middle of the night, my own name drifted by my ear.
Thank you.
Curiously, I asked back, what for? Silence echoed between us.
Forget about it.
Immediately, his breath returned to the soft whistle of a slumber. What is he thanking me for? Inviting him to the fireworks show, perhaps? Something about Ruvel seems off today. Lost in thought, sleep set in on me, little by little. Oh, it went straight to the next chapter. Ruvel Main Story Chapter 8. I think I'm just going to go ahead and read it, because these are just so short. The next day, preparing for tonight's fireworks show, I painted color into my painting and aimed for its completion. But for some reason, I just couldn't focus. I sighed. The reason was obvious. When I'd woken up, Ruvel was nowhere to be seen. Where'd he get off to? I recalled how Ruvel seemed strange last night. He's not just gonna up and disappear on me, is he? He promised he'd go with me to the fireworks show. Sighing quietly, I gazed at the canvas aimlessly. What a surprise it was when I first saw this. Night, a few days before. I was preparing dinner while Ruvel was asleep, and I returned to my room, and there, I found Ruvel standing stock still in front of the canvas. What's wrong? His eyebrows crashed down in irritated surprise.
Why this?
I put a question to his turned back. Shouldn't I have?
Shouldn't?
I could see my rough sketch from around him. Drawn there was,
Why me?
Ruvel turned around, his face captured on the canvas behind him.
You weren't gonna draw an angel or a demon?
His eyes appeared watery. Oh, we're drawing him? Originally, yes, but after spending time with you, I thought I'd like to draw you. Are you mad at me? He kept quiet for a good while.
No, I'm not.
He turned to look at the canvas again.
Something wrong?
Startled, I turned around. There was Ruvel, with a kind expression on his face.
Taking a break?
Well, I guess. Where'd you go?
Out for a bit. More importantly, are you ready? We better get preparing soon.
Looking at the clock, it was indeed time to get ready. Ah, right you are. We've got to get ready. It's the rare fireworks show, and with Ruvel at that, I've got to enjoy myself. I excitedly began preparations for the fireworks show. Hours later, with us both in yukata, we walked to the spot for the fireworks show. Look at all the people. Oh, he's actually in one, and with a fedora? What the heck?
Yeah, it'd be so easy if we flew.
I smiled and rolled my eyes. Sure, but then you'd have to deal with the gawking crowds below.
True.
Mingling with the crowd, we walked a bit longer before I heard Ruvel whisper something in my ear.
On you.
Huh? You say something? I turned around to look at Ruvel, but his gaze shifted to the side.
No, it's nothing.
Doesn't sound like nothing. Oh, I wonder if he said it looks good on you. Just when I tried to press for an answer, a wave of people nearly knocked me off my feet. Ow! The next moment, I found myself softly supported by Ruvel.
Are you okay?
Yeah, thanks. I regained my stature.
The yukata looks good on you.
Hey, is that what he told me before? Thanks. Yours looks good too. I don't know, he kind of looks scary with his fedora. Suddenly, he took my hand in his. Huh? Giving me a brief moment to feel my own pulse, he started walking.
We can't be separated. Too many people here.
Ruvel, his justification was matter of fact, but I could feel his kindness through his hand. Enjoying the sensation, Ruvel and I headed for the show grounds, and we finally arrived. Huh? I commented to Ruvel on a curiously large throng of people. Hey, what do you think that's all about?
Dunno.
Checking my cell phone, there was still plenty of time until the show. Want to see what's over there? I pulled him by the hand. Through the crowds we saw.
Calling all cosplayers, sign up here. Presents for all participants.
Cosplay? I spotted a sign with cosplay contest written on it. Why cosplay at a fireworks show? Confused, I looked around to see a great number of food and game stalls. I guess they're making it into sort of a festival?
I just don't understand.
Huh?
What humans are thinking.
His remark left me feeling somewhat disconcerted. I can understand where he's coming from, but it makes me sad to hear him lumping all humans together. Not into cosplay, huh? I like cosplay. I would want to go watch it, but maybe we'll say look for other things? Want to look for other things? He keeps quiet and pulls me by the hand. Hey, where are we going? We walked a bit longer before he came to a stop.
What's that?
Huh? His eyes were fixed on a goldfish scooping game stall. That's goldfish scooping. You can take home the goldfish you scoop up. That reminds me of Kent's route from Amnesia.
Huh, that sounds pretty amusing for a human invention.
His response took me by surprise. Amusing?
Yeah, scooping up lives, not that different from what we do.
Are you sure? After you scoop the goldfish, you have to take care of them, you know.
That's right, that's still what Reapers do though.
You mean to tell me Reapers raise souls too? He smiled faintly.
You can say that. We're not all about the collection process.
Something about his explanation stuck with me. If only there was something that could make this more fun. Just as I huffed in boredom, I spotted none other than the festival favorite cotton candy. Hey, hold on a moment. Leaving him to wait for a moment, I went to buy cotton candy. When I came back a short while later, he wasn't where I left him. Around that time.
Why do I have to?
Ruvel stood around looking gloomy, dressed in a demon costume.
Come on now, it's fun, ain't it?
Slapping Ruvel on the shoulder was his supervisor, Rainer.
A Reaper in demon's clothing.
Ruvel sighed deeply under his mocking eyes.
So what? You shouldn't have just dragged me off to make me wear this.
Ding dong, bingo! Saying this, he slapped Ruvel at the shoulder twice more.
Nah, I kid. The suit's for kicks. For kicks?
Ruvel stood up and began to throw off the demon outfit. Rainer latched onto him, stopping him in his tracks.
Come on, it looks great on you. It'd be a waste of time to take it off. Kayla's waiting for me.
Despite Ruvel's cold stare, Rainer smiled, giving it no thought.
You really got the hots for her, don't ya?
Ruvel's expression crumpled into a glare. Rainer merely laughed.
And you're just letting her drift off to heaven, huh?
Ruvel's eyes widened. Is that what he asked? If we could still go to heaven? Aww, but I want to be with Ruvel. No! Ruvel, where'd you go? I ran up to Ruvel, who appeared normal enough.
I just got wrapped up in something odd.
Something odd? He held out a vinyl shopping bag to me.
Here.
What's this? I looked inside. Wow, that's cute. Inside was a little red potted flower.
Flowers wither away before you know it, though.
Seeing Ruvel's depressed expression, my cheeks puffed up in irritation. Sheesh, I remember you saying that before at the park. Ruvel looked away uncomfortably. You know, Ruvel, I'm even more confident now that blossoms are beautiful because they eventually fall. Humans too. They make the most of their lives because they're mortal. Ruvel glanced up at me carefully, feeling a little embarrassed. I looked at the flower, and then I realized something. Where'd this flower come from?
Whoa there, that's the face of someone wondering why does he know that.
Rainer met Ruvel's direct stare with a smile.
Well, putting my sources aside, it was something I had to say. Otherwise, Mr. Hades would get on my case too, you know. He's scary when he's mad, you know that, don't you?
As Ruvel was still silent, Rainer let out a long breath.
How about that? You're back to being the silent guy you used to always be. You talk up a storm when you're with the lady, though.
He poked at Ruvel's cheek, and Ruvel shook him off like a fly.
And what? Are you here to punish me? When would I ever do something that took that much effort? Mr. Hades just sent me here so I could finish off some work you're slacking with.
Blood drained from Ruvel's face.
Slacking with? Later, alligator.
Those were Rainer's parting words.
What? Hey!
Ruvel staggered forward, starting to chase after him.
What the? What's with that get-up?
In his place, Diavol arrived. Ruvel grabbed onto him.
Was it you? Did you rat me out? Huh? What the hell are you talking about, man?
Staring back at Ruvel, Diavol suddenly appeared to realize something.
Are you talking about that annoying Reaper?
Diavol looked away guiltily.
It wasn't me. Maybe Lattice found himself at the sharp end of a scythe, huh? He's an angel, but he's easily pressured.
Ruvel looked away and sighed quietly. Watching Ruvel, Diavol scratched his head apologetically.
But if he did get word of what you asked Lattice to do, that'd be a mess.
Just that moment. Hello, participants. This way, please. A woman guided Diavol and Ruvel out to the contest.
What the?
Demon cosplayers, yes? Right this way. Ruvel looked over at Diavol.
Sorry, you take care of this.
He started to leave, but, please, wait just a moment. The staff member held something out. This is something we're giving out to all the participants. It was a red potted flower. Fireworks lit up the sky with a great loud boom. Aw, so cute. Against a pitch black sky, the lights of fireworks fell one after another towards the people gazing skyward. It's so pretty. Sitting next to Ruvel, a sigh of admiration escaped my lips.
It really is.
In contrast to the oohs and ahs around us, Ruvel stayed mostly quiet. I stole a glance at him and saw the beautiful lights of the fireworks reflecting off his eyes. I wonder if he likes fireworks. Just as I was wondering this, our hands on the ground accidentally touched. Ruvel took notice and looked over at me. He smiled faintly and layered his hand on top of mine. Ruvel, were anyone to look at us now, it would have been clear that we were your average couple. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the fireworks display complete, I walked back home with Ruvel feeling pretty upbeat. His hands held mine very warm. In my other hand was the shopping bag with which the potted plant was in. I felt a pure sort of happiness. It was enough to make me wish that this day would never end, and at that moment,
tomorrow's the 7th day.
The pain of being pulled back into reality gripped at my heart. That's right. Fumbling for words, I looked over at Ruvel. Tomorrow, are you going to take my soul? I waited for his response, but it wouldn't come. An awkward silence hung between us.
Are you okay being with me?
He asked hesitantly. We're totally gonna explain our feelings. Of course I am. My feelings welled up inside and I slowly opened my mouth. Why wouldn't I when I like... Just when I started talking,
Kayla.
He cut me off and placed a hand on my shoulder.
Don't say anything more.
What?
Don't say anything you can't take back.
Take back what? He turned away.
Was today fun?
Huh? His sudden change of topic left me confused. What? This is an abrupt... Sure, it was fun, but... I answered, still confused, and his eyes dimmed slightly.
I see. That's good.
What exactly is he up to? I pursed my lips, and then I was surrounded in his gentle arms.
Kayla, you should go to heaven.
He whispered just outside my ear. What? Heaven? What are you saying?
If you go with me, it won't be to heaven, and you won't get to see your brother.
I know that already, but He smiled bitterly.
I can't take you.
How can that be? I reflexively looked up at his face. Even if I ask you to take me? His eyes quivered with emotion.
Kayla.
His eyes drew closer and our lips touched lightly. Ruvel.
I want to bring you with me.
My pulse shot upwards.
That's what I've always thought.
Ruvel, then why?
He sniffed wryly. I just can't.
Why?
You told me before, the beauty of flowers in their fall. Humans make the most of their lives because they're mortal.
The painful look in his eyes was like a vice on my chest, clamping down.
It's because you think that I can't take you. No, a miserable being like myself shouldn't be allowed to.
Don't put yourself down like that. You know I want to. His face pulled away from mine.
I can't do it.
But will you be okay not taking my soul? Isn't this why you were with me in the first place? I asked him desperately.
That was a beautiful firework display.
Again, he changed the subject, leaving me confused.
It's so brilliant, so vivid. It's like feelings bursting open. I'm glad I was able to watch it with you.
I felt my heart thump unpleasantly. Ruvel, the events of the past week came back to me, and my heart clenched tight. Could it be? I looked at his face. The reason you went to the fireworks show with me, that you wore the yukata for me. Words spilled out one after another. That you kissed me just now. It was all to say goodbye? Ruvel swiftly looked away, after a brief period of silence.
What if it was?
Oh, the shock was so great that my vision diminished. Then Ruvel's intent was always this. Just as I arrived at this conclusion,
goodbye.
His voice was nearly a whisper. When I came to my senses, I was already running away. The illusion of happiness had passed. You've got mail. Well, that was serious. Oh, it's from Ruvel at least.
Goodbye. I hope you get to see your brother.
Thank you. No, this can't be. Ugh, you guys, I guess we'll figure out what ends up happening and if we really go to heaven or if we can somehow still be with Ruvel in chapter 9. Thanks for watching. Bye.